concluded. The members of the board will deliberate and we will render our decision. I'll remind members with a personal or financial interest in any request, you're required to recuse yourself from voting. Any petition, any testimony that is submitted by the petitioner or on behalf of the petitioner during the presentation of the agenda item will be binding as to any decision the board makes relative to the motion. I'll remind our members here tonight that if a motion to deny an item is made, a reason must be given. And I'll announce those who are here tonight: Mr. Nathan Williams, Mr. Corey Johnson, Mr. Bart Prince, Mr. Pickett Reese, Mr. George Howell Jr., and John Stanley. Before we take our first petitioner, I'll remind the board that it requires 5 votes to approve a motion. And we have 6 with us here tonight. Any questions? So James Center is here, Tanya Ingram, Jovan is here, and Paul is here. Okay, item number 2. Good evening, ladies. Glad you could make it. Bear with me, I have to read the item, and then I'll give you the opportunity. Yeah, if you would please remove that, do whatever you'd like. Just make sure you can speak clearly into the mic.
Okay.
Hang on just a minute, let me read the item.
My name is Jakaya Sanders, and I'm requesting a special exception to place a mobile home at 2951 Colbert Court.
Okay, I was going to read it, but I'm glad you did.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, you want to place a mobile home on the property.
Yes, sir.
Is this for your private use?
Living purposes, yes, sir.
Okay, because we're not approving this if it's for rental purposes. No. Okay?
That is correct.
And let's see, it's on a private street.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
And let's see, it's on a lot with an existing home, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Is that the existing home, is it lived in?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Any questions, board members? Any further discussion? Anyone in the audience care to address this item? If not, I'll entertain a motion. You gotta have a motion. Mr. Prince, y'all have to speak up, particularly with you down there. I can't hear you. Have a motion from Mr. Prince. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion as presented, please raise your hand. It's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you guys very much.
You're welcome. Item number 3. Mr. Avila, come to the mic. Mr. Villa is requesting a rear yard variance and a separation between structures variance for an accessory structure located at 205 Federal Drive in an R60S zoning district. Mr. Avila?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. You've got an accessory structure there, or you're planning to put an accessory structure there. What are you planning to put in the accessory structure?
I plan to put like a...
You're going to have to speak very loudly into that mic so we can understand you, particularly if you keep that mask on.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to put lawnmower and tools, and they're just like a storage.
Okay. So you're not gonna have a hobby or anything like that? You're not gonna use it for any kind of retail use, correct?
No, sir.
Strictly for storage?
Yes.
Is that
for
correct?
Storage. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And so you're 4 feet 6 inches off the rear property line, and you're 5 feet 8 inches off the rear,
That's correct.
off the rear property line. Okay? Any questions, board members? Mr. Prince? You're gonna have to speak up because we can't hear you from here.
Yeah, it's about all complete, so.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question.
I saw where it was just about already completed. I asked him,
Oh, okay, all right.
is that true?
All right, anyone here would like to speak for or against this particular item? Any questions, board members? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve. Mr. Howell, have a second?
Second.
Second for Mr. Williams. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion as presented, please raise your hand. It's unanimous. You got it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Please be sure you're restricted to storage only, okay?
Yes, sir.
Item number 4 is presented by Keith Rogers, requesting a front yard variance and a street side yard variance for a privacy fence located at 576 Dunbarton Road in an R75S zoning district. Mr. Rogers?
Good evening.
Hello. Okay.
I am about as close to a property owner of this property as you can get. I bought this property bond for title in 2012.
Mr. Rogers, excuse me, pull that mic up to you
Is that
a little bit
better?
and speak more directly in it, if you will.
Sure.
We have a real problem with acoustics in here.
Okay, I purchased this property bond for title in 2012 from a Mr. and Mrs. Strawn. And over the years, I didn't know it, but they passed away. And so I found myself without a deed, without a title, but a valid contract for the sale. So I had to file stuff with the court. Now, in the meantime, for years, I've had my son living in that house. And he and another gentleman that does construction work saw fit that they needed a fence. They built a fence. I had no idea that they did not seek a permit before building the fence. By all accounts, it's a very nice looking fence, and it was done for privacy reasons, obviously, because this is a busy intersection with 2 lanes on both sides. It's sort of a 4-lane. It's a divided 2-lane on Dunbarton, and then Wares Ferry is the same. And so it was done for privacy reasons, and then that's when I got noticed by way of property taxes that no one had sought a permit for this. And so here I am. I thought initially that the concerns that the city might have would have been around for visibility reasons of the intersection, but that proved not to be the case because it causes no visibility issues. And then being a homeowner, I thought, well, maybe the problem is fire department issues in case there was a problem or a fire, but as you can see, it's wide open. It's not an enclosure at all. It's just a freestanding fence. But you know, here I am now, and this thing was not done with a permit. Everybody tells me it's a beautiful fence, and I understand the reasoning why it was done, but it just wasn't done the right way with the variance first. And so I'm asking, rather than destroy that beautiful fence, I'm asking the city to consider leaving it intact because it really is nice looking. It doesn't detract from the neighborhood. It adds to it. And it does offer to the resident there, my son, a good deal of privacy from the busy Wares Ferry Dunbarton Road intersection. It makes his home a lot more enjoyable. And ladies and gentlemen, that's basically all I have.
Did you say that you installed the fence or was there when you took title to the property?
Neither, Mr. Stanley. I bought the property in 2012, and it did not have a fence. And I think that fence was put up about 2 years ago. That's my understanding.
Okay. All righty. Any questions, board members? Okay, if not, anyone in the audience care to speak for or against this item? Okay, we'll take y'all one at a time, please, sir.
Good afternoon. I'm Bill Scher, president of the Montgomery East Neighborhood Association. I understand what Mr. Rogers is talking about here. This is the entrance to the subdivision of Montgomery East. An 8-foot tall privacy fence going completely around the property would look like a corral going on there. And like I said, this is the entrance on a 4-way intersection coming in there. In addition, if you're making a right-hand turn on Wares Ferry Road, the way the current fence is, the vehicle must pull out into line of traffic, at least with the bumper of the car, to see what's going on to make the right-hand turn. This was an item of discussion at the Montgomery East Neighborhood Association meeting at 16 January with a lot of concern about if this goes through, what's going to be next. I think it personally, along with membership of the association, it would be a huge eyesore. And currently there are a washer and a dryer, a pool, a kiddie's pool, and a bunch of other stuff sitting on the Wares Ferry roadside that is currently hidden by this privacy fence. So if the intent of the fence is to maintain privacy, then Montgomery code needs to be complied with on proper maintenance of the property without hiding it behind an 8-foot fence. Any questions?
Sir, what was your name again?
Bill Schuer, S-U-H-R.
Okay, Mr. Schuer. In your opinion, not only is this, I understand what you're saying. In your opinion, is this a traffic issue with it being there at that corner?
Along with a 4-way intersection at that stoplight there, a huge eyesore with an 8-foot fence. The one that's put up there, I will give it, it's put up professionally, but I don't want it. The association doesn't want it to encompass the entire property. It's going to look like a corral.
Well, today it's only on part of the property, correct?
Yes, sir, on the Wares Ferry roadside.
On the corner. It's
On the Wares Ferry roadside.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So all he wants to do is to maintain what's there.
It was my impression that he wanted to go on the Dunbarton side too.
I understand, according to this, he just wants to maintain what's there, right, Tanya?
Yeah, we were not informed. He make an answer. We weren't informed that he was going to go all the way down
Right.
Dunbarton.
We're dealing with what's there now.
Your assumptions are correct.
Yes, we're dealing with what's there now.
Okay.
So I want to make sure you understood that.
Okay.
Okay.
I was,
I
okay,
understand.
okay.
Just to clarify, because you
Okay.
said something that implied you thought it would encompass the whole lot. It's not. It's only what's there.
Okay,
And I want to make sure the board members understand that too.
okay.
Okay? All right. Any other questions from Mr. Schuer? Okay. Mr. Bollinger? Councilman Bollinger?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. My name is Richard Bollinger, and I'm here as the city councilman for that particular district. I've been out there and I've looked at the fence. I talked with our traffic department. The only concerns that the traffic department has is if there's a green light and somebody's going straight across the street, that they may not see somebody coming down may not see them coming, and if the lights are timed just right, it could cause an accident. If you pull up, you do have to pull up past the stop bar right now to be able to see. That doesn't really make any, cause any problems as far as the traffic department is concerned. I have two concerns about this. First, by it being 8 foot tall and almost against the sidewalk. I think it's about a foot off the sidewalk on West Ferry Road. Very close right there. If you're riding a bicycle, that's a high-speed area. You want to have a little bit more room there. I'm not as concerned about the 8 foot, although I think it should be maybe a 6 foot high fence. I could live with that a little bit easier. But here's what I really think's happening. You heard the owner say that his sons were there and it was a construction company, and I think they've had some construction materials there. And I think the privacy fence as such is there to really hide that. My concern, if you'll look at your layout there, in that north and east corner, there's about a 12-foot gap that the fence doesn't go and touch his other property line fence. And I'm afraid we have vehicles circling from one driveway through there and out that fence. And that would really concern me because that does become a traffic hazard as far as the traffic department's concerned. You can't pull up and drive out that way because you can't pull out far enough to see safely to do that. And I believe we're coming out at an angle. The gravel goes straight out across to the neighbor's driveway. And I think it becomes an unsafe condition. So I do think we should comply, and I do feel like the fence should go back to his normal setback lines to the face of the house. And I think if you did that with a 6 foot high fence, you could still have your same privacy, still cut off the same traffic noise that you might have to enjoy the property better. But I think an 8 foot fence, where it's located right now, shouldn't be allowed.
Any questions of Councilman Bollinger or Mr. Shure? Okay, Mr. Rogers, you have last opportunity.
Thank you. I've got some pictures I'd like to circulate around so you all could look
If you
at
would
them.
speak a little right into that mic.
The echoes here are so bad, I'm afraid I was busting everybody's ears. I've got some pictures I would like to circulate around to the council here. There's only two pictures. I just happen to have 3 copies of each. One of them is, I took both of these this morning with my cell phone, and one of them shows just the Dunbarton side of it, and the other one shows the intersection where one pulls up to Wares Ferry Road. And the purpose of the first picture is to show that it's just a nice looking fence, and it doesn't close off anything on Dunbarton Road. Purpose of the second picture is to show that there's plenty of visibility at the intersection of Wares Ferry, and you can see all the way down the sidewalk well before you get to the intersection. How should I distribute these?
Sure.
Okay. Well, I don't know what happened.
Thank you.
I am not sure how far the concerns go about what is behind the fence, but I would like to address that my son is a commercial painter, and from time to time he has a trailer with building materials on it and paint materials. It's not there now. And so at times there has been a truck and trailer behind the wall. Right now that's not the case. I'm not sure that's a an issue one way or the other for the wall, but, you know, just to speak to it, we're not hiding anything.
Okay, any questions of the petitioner? Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
George?
Mr. Rogers, why is there a gap on the back end up there in what is the upper right-hand corner here?
Yes, sir?
Okay. Why is there a gap in the fence there?
I'm going to speculate. I believe when I moved into that house that individuals had used that gap area for ingress and egress off West Ferry Road on occasion, because it's hard to get out on Dunbarton by looking at it. If you're in any kind of traffic there, it's hard to get out on Dunbarton's side. So I think that the other gentleman was correct. I think there's been some use of pulling out onto West Ferry through where that gap would be.
Okay. So they're driving across a city sidewalk and using somebody else's driveway to do that.
I understand that. I don't live there, and I thought we were kind of focused on the, you know, just on the fence, but I'll do what I can to remedy that situation.
Okay. But they're using it because it's hard to get out on Dunbarton. Is that right? And that's why they left the gap in the fence there.
I think your question was, why is there a gap? And my best speculation is because there was no grass right there. It had been eroded over a period of time by those who lived in that house over a period of time. And I think that when they put up that fence, they deliberately left that I'm going to call it a very short dirt road is what I'm going to call it. They left it alone because it had sort of came into use over the years. And this was before I bought the house, I'm sure, because it was there when I bought the house.
Okay. James or Tanya, is there any problem with people driving over a city sidewalk?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Howell, it's already been noted, and I've talked to traffic engineering. That's going to have to be remedied one way or another because it's not safe. It's not safe it being utilized the way it's being used, and that's been addressed. So
Okay.
whether or not y'all will let them keep the fence or not, something's going to have to stop them from using that, for no better word, illegal ingress.
Okay.
There's no city-approved curb cut at
Well, there
West
is for
Fair
the-
Road
there is
to
for the
serve
adjoining-
that lot, to serve that lot.
Exactly, sir.
Right.
And it
There's
is,
one next to it.
yes, sir, and it is a concern of traffic.
Yeah. Right, okay. Any further questions of the petition?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion.
All right, one second. Is anyone else have anything they want to say about this item? Okay. Mr. Reese?
I'd like to make a motion that we deny Mr. Rogers' request, and my reasoning is that this request, this variance creates too many unsafe conditions.
Too many unsafe conditions. You got that, Tanya? Jovan? Do I have a second to the motion?
Second.
Second. Mr. Howell? Any further discussion? Mr. Prince?
It was also said, sir, that the fence,
You're going to have to...
it was also said, sir, that the fence was 8 foot by the councilman, and he said that it might be better if it was dropped down to 6 feet. Before we make that motion on this, would you be willing to drop it down if it was necessary, or you don't want to do that?
Well, Mr. Prince, let me just say this. The motion on the table is to deny, okay? We're not here to modify that emotion at this point.
Gotcha.
Okay? And I believe the councilman said he might be okay with that, but he also wanted it moved back. And right now, it's right up on the property line.
Right.
Is that right, Mr. Councilman? Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay. Any further discussion? We have a motion to deny based on the motion that it presents too many unsafe conditions. Is that right, Mr. Reese?
That's correct.
Okay. All in favor of the motion as presented, please raise your hand. Sir, your petition is denied.
Thank you.
Unanimous denial. Okay, item number 5 is, I didn't say anything to him about when it needed to be removed. I guess we'll deal with that.
We'll discuss it and come up with.
Yeah.
Time frame.
Okay.
We'll put it in his letter.
Yeah, I
denial.
didn't want to get into that. Okay, item number 5 is presented by Valerie Brown.
Number 6. Can you hear
Are
me?
you Valerie?
Number 6, Mr.
Thank you.
Chairman. Number 6.
Going to number 6.
Okay.
Is number 5 not here? Oh, okay. Sir, come on up. Let me read you. Item number 6. Let me find it here. Is,
Lee
hold on.
Stinson with
Hold on.
Stinson. Hold on.
I'm trying to find it. Yeah, here we go.
Okay.
This is presented by the petitioner, Joanne Tiller. I'm going to let you introduce yourself in a moment. Requesting a side yard variance for an addition to come to the side property line to be located at 1527 Marlow Drive in an R75S zone district. So, okay, you can identify yourself for the record and give us your request.
I'm DeMar Stinson with Stinson Construction Company, and we're looking at putting that carport on for Mrs. Tillis on Marlow Drive, and it's to be 14 by 30.
Okay.
14 feet wide and 14
Okay.
feet long and 30 feet wide.
Well, since you are coming to the property line, you've got to make sure that you've got the wherewithal to keep the water off of your adjacent property.
Yes, sir.
That may mean gutters.
It's going to be gutters.
There'll be gutters and downspouts.
Yes, gutters and downspout, right.
Okay? So be sure that you do that,
Okay.
because if your neighbor next door should
Right.
come back and
Right.
have a problem with the water, you may be forced to remove the structure or move it back some.
Yes, sir.
So you want to keep that water off your neighbor.
All right.
Other than that, you should be in good shape.
All right. Thank you, sir.
This is a carport. It's not a garage. It's not enclosed,
Carport,
correct?
Carport, not a garage.
Just open carport,
Open
correct?
carport.
Okay. Any questions, board members?
Yes,
Howell?
you're replacing an existing structure, is that right?
Yeah, this structure. It's a carport already there, but when she bought the house, somebody else had illegally put one on there without a permit or something.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and when she called me, because it was about to fall, I asked her if she had a permit, which is on there right, so
Okay.
we had to go put it.
She got you to do it right, okay.
Right.
It happens.
Okay.
Wait, we're not through
Any other questions of the petition? Anyone in the audience care to address this item? If not, I'll entertain a motion. You got to speak up. She can't hear you.
We accept it.
You make a motion to approve as presented. All right, have a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Reese. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor, raise your hand. It's unanimous.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck. Okay, item number 7. Oh, item 7. All right, item 7 is presented by Mansa, MGM LLC, representing Alpha Wilson Joint Venture LLC, care of Jim Wilson Associates LLC, requesting a one-story height variance and a one-story variance, a height variance for a new building to be located on the southeast corner of Bear Hill Road and East Chase Lane in a PUD zoning district. Okay. We'll need you to give your name and address for the record.
Yes, sir. My name is Jerry South. Name of the firm is South and Associates Civil Engineers, South and Associates, 2496 Rocky Ridge Road, Vestavia, Alabama, 35243. I'm here on the behalf of the applicant, the Mansa MGM, and we are planning an A-loft hotel, which is an upscale, somewhat referred to as a boutique, which I give you some details on it. We're at the southeast quadrant of Bear Hill Road and East Chase Lane. This is currently a 30-acre vacant tract, and we are in that primary corner, going to take about a little under 3 acres, so about a tenth of the acreage that's there. And the current trend or need for rooms, all hotels chains are going to the 4th story, and that's the zoning ordinances in a lot of cities haven't caught up with that yet, so that's why we are requesting the additional floor, and then that also brings in the height request as well with that. And I'll show you here. This is a new style of hotel. More of the trend of
Jerry, which side of the building and where will that sign face? Will it be facing Berry Hill or East Chase Lane?
The sign will be facing East Chase, the building that's on. I'm sorry, Bear Hill? Oh, okay. Well, once we were looking at 2 signs, now we have one that will be on Berry Hill. Now this is, I'll hold this up adjacent to it. This is East Chase, Berry Hill, and the signage will be on the Berry Hill side, on the west side.
The Berry Hill side?
Yes, sir.
Okay, got it. Is that right?
Yeah. And I think the zoning ordinance also has a height limitation, and that going to the 4th story takes us that extra, the extra footage that we're asking for as well.
Right.
Of height.
Okay. But board members, we're taking into consideration an extra story, and the 21 height. But part of that 21 height includes that sign that's on the face of the building.
Correct.
And then there'll be, I guess, a separate monument sign?
No, sir.
No monument?
No. The only signage, and it's actually an architectural feature of the building, will be on the building.
Okay.
The name of the A-loft is also built into the structure of the canopy that's in the front.
Okay. But no freestanding monument?
No freestanding, no. Sir.
Okay. The sign is not a blinking sign, but is backlit of some sort, so it'll be backlit at night?
Backlit, yes, sir, backlit.
Okay, but not blinking? Okay. It's a constant? Yes, sir. Okay. All right. Any questions of the petitioner?
Yes.
Mr. Howell?
This hotel will be, there's a hotel in downtown Homewood, Alabama, under this same brand. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. Same ownership, just out of curiosity? No? Okay, thank you. I've seen the hotel in Homewood. It looks good. Thank you. That's all.
I'll say this, board members, the precedent has been set out there for 4-story height buildings at 4-story buildings at similar heights. Is that right, Tanya? Yeah. Okay, the precedent has been set, so this is not anything
we're not the first. We're not
anything we've had to deal with before.
Several times, Mr. Chairman. We have several out there.
Right. There's what, 4 or 5 at least.
That'd be a good count.
Right. Jerry, do you have something you want to say?
I was saying, we're not the first to be
Right.
requesting the 4 stories.
Right, exactly. Any other questions, board members? If not, is anyone in the audience care to address this item? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve Mr. South's request.
Have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion to approve from Mr. Reese, second from Mr. Howell. Any further discussions, comments? All in favor, raise your hand. It's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Jerry, I think it's been a long time since I've seen you. You're still in Birmingham, right? Huh? Yeah.
Is that it?
All right, hold on. Any other questions about our meeting tonight? Is item number 1 here yet?
That's all.
Excuse me?
That's all. Nobody's else.
That's all. We have a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Have a motion to approve, Mr. Howell, second.
Second.
Mr. Reese. Have a motion to approve it, to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
All right. Very good. I want to thank all of y'all for being here tonight. Thank you very much. Who were you talking about?
Next week's gonna be interesting.
That was on the plan.